My name is Carly Devine and I'm doing my personal and professional literacy profile and learning plan today. First of all, I'm going to look at teaching reading and teaching writing and what we learnt in those areas. But to start with, most of my readings are from the Winch textbook. So looking at teaching reading, we looked at making connections between the text. So it was text to self connections, text to text and text to the world. Now I really think text to the world was really important, especially for students, just to be able to understand the connections that are made and also to make it relatable for them. We looked at the reading strategy of generating questions. So this really helps in comprehension and being able to understand topics on a deeper level. So open-ended questions were really great to use because it just allows students to explore and delve a little bit deeper into their thinking. We also looked at the purpose of the text, and going back to comprehension, I feel like if there's a purpose, it makes the students a lot more involved and engaged. With comprehension as well, we also looked at predicting, skimming and scanning, and this really helps students in their reading because they could just skim to a part or scan the words and find what they needed. I also think it's really important to cater to different levels of students within your classroom. So some students will benefit a lot from individual reading where they can go off and read by themselves, but on the other hand there's a lot of students that will benefit more from shared group reading or one-on-one time with the teacher. Looking at teaching writing, we use the writer's notebook within our classes, which is a really good resource to use as you could have all your ideas in one place and you could use it for a lot of things. So we did small group activities, we got to draw some things in our books. We also did it for our development of writing. So we got to plan in our books, we got to write down some steps. It allows you also to go back and revisit some ideas that you may want to touch on. Okay, so for reviewing and annotating the Victorian curriculum to grade 2 under the reading and viewing strand, I have found that one of my strengths under that strand would be spelling, text features and text contents. So this is a really big part of my confidence levels as a teacher. I feel like I can really develop these. Whereas there's one thing I'd really like to work on, and that's word level grammar. So I just don't feel like I have much knowledge in this area, and I can't go out to schools teaching this area if I'm not confident in it either. So I really would like to ensure that my understanding of word level grammar, in particular parts of speech, so they are your nouns, your verbs, your pronouns, adjectives, etc. I'll be covering 8 of them. I just really want to make sure they're at a high standard and that I'm capable to teach them, and I'm also confident to teach them to my students. So I made reference to relevant theory, so I read the WA Education First Steps booklet, and they just said it's really important to focus on student vocabulary and grammar, and for students to understand the patterns of language. So how words work and join together and how they can be used differently in sentences. So for my plan, I'll be doing it over 9 weeks. Now I've made up a plan on my whiteboard here, which is just a really simple version, but I do have more detail for this plan. So week 1, I'm defining, describing and providing examples of the parts of speech. And as I am a visual learner, I have made a poster as I started week 1 last week. So these just have the definition of each of the parts of speech and examples, and also just I was able to describe what it was and how it can be used. So week 2 is test yourself. So it'll either be myself testing me or I'll get someone else to test me. But I feel like questioning and testing is a really good way to just really understand your development in that area and see what you need to work on. Week 3, I'll be looking at AT1 entry for our Google site. So I'm going to list all the strategies I've used so far in trying to work on my word level grammar. And I'm going to choose one area that I really want to further develop my knowledge. Week 4 is refining terms to make my learning more manageable. So I'm going to review any areas that need addressing where I may need to work on a little bit more. And I'm going to do some extended research on that topic. So go back to the First Steps booklet or go back to the Victorian curriculum and see if I can get any strategies or resources from there. Week 5 and 6, I'm looking at strategies to teach grammar within the classroom. So for the first week, I'm going to look at the first 4 of the 8 parts of speech, and then the second week I'll do the same with the other ones. So while doing this, I'm going to be finding resources to use while I'm out on placement. In week 7, I'm ensuring my resources are effective and engaging for my students so I can use it out on placement for the following week. So I really want to take some resources with me just to make sure I'm prepared. Week 8, I'm implementing the strategies and resources I have found while I'm out on placement, if applicable. I really want to note down my own confidence levels in teaching that subject or that area and capability to teach word level grammar. In week 9, which is the last week, I'm going to reflect and review. So I'm going to reflect and review on what's happened in placement, if my strategies worked, if not, if they didn't, how come, what did I see or experience in the classroom that I thought was really good or that I could use myself. So I'll just be taking notes and asking questions to make a summary, I guess, of what has happened over the 9 weeks. Lastly, I'll be exploring my strategies to improve my knowledge and understanding in the word level grammar topic. So I'm a really visual learner, so I'm going to make mind maps, posters, PMI charts, tables, just anything I can to stick around my office or take with me to class and keep it all, I guess, fresh and to be able to extend my knowledge a little bit deeper. So for now, that's all. I hope that I can achieve my 9-week plan, but we'll see how we go. Thanks.